We're going to be doing some coaching with Astrea. So Astrea is in the bottom right playing Terran. And he's playing against Epic's ZERG in the top left. I think Epic's ZERG got pretty good. But because Epic's a Terran player, Epic basically plays ZERG with no actual ability to play ZERG. He basically just hits timing attacks and like macro as well and does a build without thinking about it. So the real trick to beating Epic in TvZ is do literally anything that requires a response and don't die to a random timing attack. Basically how you beat any Terran player ever, right? Terran players don't have brains, they don't know how to think, and they're basically, you know, they just hit timing attacks that are planned before the game starts. So if you can do that, Astrea, you should be able to win. You got to remember these facts, okay? So first things first, we're going to go 2 Rax Reaper. Now this is a really good build order if your name's Beyond and you're really god tier at micro. Otherwise it's garbage and it achieves literally nothing. But we're going to do it anyway, and fair enough. If we do it, that's fine. We'll take a look. Now, to be fair, Epic's gotten very good. I do mostly play him in ZVZ with his off-race ZERG, but he does just hit timing attacks that are planned before the game starts. I haven't really played Terran vs ZERG against him, so he's going to do a pool first 6-ling pressure. Now, Astrea here is not scouting, and, mate, what are we... Oh my... You're not going to notice him now because he's like completely invisible. Unless you notice your idle worker button, there's no way to see this without rotating your camera. Unless your screen is like right here and it's at the very bottom of your screen. You got to lower those depots, bud. You got to lower those depots, mate. You got to always make sure that SCV comes back inside the wall. Anyways, you see no expansion, so you should immediately rally behind your wall with this last Reaper or with the Marine. Either way is fine. And you should feel really good because he went pool first. Can't get a third base up, so if you hang around and just deny the third base attempts, that's going to be amazing. We've gone command center into second gas behind it, which is interesting. I guess second gas is kind of standard. You just don't want to delay your third command center too long is the only problem. Some people delay that way too long. We're going to do multi-prong Reaper pressure, so we've already got 1 drone kill, which is sick. Great catch for Epic, but not worth losing 2 drones. This is a really good start. Like, you did like the very fancy harassment, but he tunnel visioned a bit, so it worked out really well. Well, that one was unnecessary. Up to that point. Up until the point where I said it worked out really well, and then you lost a Reaper to slow Zerglings for no reason. We'll ignore that. If you lost 1 Reaper for 2 drones, it would have been great. As it is, we've got a factory on the way, 3rd command center, only after the factory. This looks like a Banshee follow-up. Are we doing a Banshee follow-up? The fuck am I looking at right now? What is this build? Have you ever done a 2 Rax Reaper before, Astrea, or are you just making this up? Oh no, you're doing the Maru build, the Widowmine drop? So this is when Maru wants to end up 30 workers behind Serral, so that people can balance whine about how weak Terran is versus ZERG. This is the opening that Maru opts for, guys. He's like, Serral, the guy who crushes 2 Rax Reaper every single game with 15-15. I'll go 2 Rax Reaper into a Widowmine drop. The build that hopes my opponent is fucking blind and doesn't have a ring of overlords that sees this coming a mile away and literally just needs to A-move some queens and not lose all the drones. Like it's the least reliable of any pressure opening you can possibly do. Okay, we got 2 drones. Honestly, that's more than I thought it would get. Super not worth. And now we're going 3 racks. Okay, we need double eBay. Yep, double eBay, 4th gas. Yeah, you're doing fine. I mean, it's sloppy, but this is kind of like the way I play TvZ, right? So I guess the trick here is number 1, pick a better build and just memorize it and do it better. This is kind of, it's the same problem I have. Look, let's be real, Astrea. You're a Protoss player, I'm a ZERG player at heart, right? Even though we've played tons of off-race, I've played way more than you have. There's still certain instincts we have. I'm also Australian, which is another part of my core identity as a human. So one of the big problems that we run into is we play like our own race with our off-race, right? So for me, I like to react to things, play strategically, and, you know, do that sort of stuff. When really, all I should be doing is doing my build order better. Like, this is every single time I lose a game with TvZ, it's like, just do the build better. Wait, so even if you think this build is bad, you lose late game. Okay, let's go to late game. Let's just go to late game, then I'll stop nitpicking. Because most games you can win 3 base stage, right? Versus ZERG, 8 racks or something like that. But we'll see. Okay, so we're going 5 racks. Now, if you're not afraid of your opponent attacking you at all, you think they're just going to turtle, take a 4th command center instead of 4th and 5th barracks so you can get to late game much faster. Oliveira taught us that after Dallas. It's actually, it seems crazy, but as long as you're not playing like a rogue who's just going to, or a dark who's going to A-move roaches at you, that's a really good way to take advantage of someone's habits. Yeah, you're being annoying. We want to stop trading the Marines, but man, he's being real sloppy with his Zerglings, eh? You can't fight the Queens though, even off creep. Well, yes you can. They don't turn to fight and there's no Lings backing it up, heck yeah. Our on 70 workers, our 4th command center is so late, dude. Yeah, like this is one of these games where like he's defending terribly and you're over microing to get mad value. But your macro is so bad that like it's kind of it's one of the this is so many of my games are like this. I'm like, this guy's taking so much damage, I'm fucking wrecking him. But because my macro is not good enough behind it, I don't actually build a game-winning advantage, whereas his gameplay here is looking real sloppy. Like, he looks like he's struggling to split his army onto 2 control groups, like he's finally figured out how to do that, but then he just F2s immediately because his Terran instincts get... The thing is, remember, Epic's a Terran player. He's used to having the fucking privilege of being able to attack the entire game and literally never have to defend or look at his own base ever once. So with that privilege, his whole problem is that, like, he's just going to keep F2ing because he's like, oh, I only need to fight wherever I want to fight. So your multi-prong's slaying. It's doing really good. Yeah, you're like destroying him mid-game, but you're not macroing well enough to actually like get in a good spot. So we're finally going AREX. We're on 77 workers. Finally going to 4 base. You've kept his creep back really well. So here's the real trick though, basically. If your opponent knows how to play Ultra Lingbane Corruptor, you can't win late game with this map, Astrea. Unless you're Clem, maybe with Clem, micro you could. But because it's site delta, this map's too wide open and the bases are too spread, you can't play a turtle style. So it depends. Most Zergs are too stupid to know how to play Ultra Lingbane Corruptor because Serral doesn't do it, so they think it's not good. But yeah, if he plays like a Ultra Lingbane Corruptor A-move style, like you're so fucked in late game on this map. I can't win late game. This is not the answer I expected. On this map, literally every other map in the map pool, you dominate late game as Terran. This is the one map where Golden Aura also actually gets kind of tough after your 5th base. Like your 6th base is so hard to take on Golden Aura. So Golden Aura gets a little rough as well late game, like super late game. So Golden Aura gets rough super late game. Site Delta gets rough super late game. But the thing is, they're both really good in the mid game for Terran. So you should just aim to win there on these maps. Now, don't get me wrong, he's probably going to play bad enough you could still win. But I'm just saying, like, if they're good enough at just splitting their army in half, A-moving 100 Lingbane Ultra here, 100 Lingbane Ultra here, good luck defending that, man. Like, you're never getting you're never holding 6 bases on this map or Golden Aura against a Zerg that knows how to split their army in half, unless you are a god-tier player. But let's get to the later stages and take a look. We're at 90 workers. Okay, so 90 workers, I would say, is usually a bit too high. You're building ghosts already? Why? Why are you building ghosts? So here's an ordering. So we want to make a little checklist for Astrea right now, guys. So we should do this. Actually, we should do this in paint. Paint looks funnier. So we want to take our brush. Yeah, watercolor sounds good. So what's our checkpoint for late game, okay? So what's the most important thing you do? 14 CCs. Then start ghosts. Unless your opponent's gone fast lurker and already has out like vipers and infestors and shit. And even then, you really would rather rely on tanks and libs to counter lurkers. Ghosts can kind of deal with them, but this is what you're missing. You're not set up for late game. And you're already wasting money on ghosts against a guy who doesn't even have a hive started. Now, maybe you didn't know that. You're assuming, oh, he's going to have lurkers any second. So I'm okay with the ghosts, but I sense a very distinct lack of urgency in getting towards command centers. The fact that you're building a 3rd factory before going for more command centers is a really big problem. So just remember, yeah, you need to build 14 command centers. I'm not kidding, guys. Like, did you guys watch that Beyond game? How many orbitals did he make? Was it 22? 24 or something. That was too many. That was actually too many. 14 is actually the prime number. There was a game we cast of Bjorn recently, Astrea, where he made, Bjorn made like 23 command centers, and it was not good. He wasted so much money on it. But I'm trying to think, like, what else is important for late game other than that? Then you can start ghosts. Then you can go for, you know, third fact. And then we can go double armory, right? Double armory. Australian spelling, get wrecked Americans. There's a U in there. You can do all the fancy shit after. Now, obviously, like I said earlier, you could have started your 4th command center before 4th and 5th barracks if you wanted to. So what's something else we could do? Well, maybe we don't want to be so extreme as 14. At least go to 5 orbitals minimum before starting ghost production. It just gives you such a better economic setup because there's such a big thing before you can fucking get, like, it takes so many scans to deal with lurkers. The more orbitals take so much time to kick in, but once they kick in, they give you so much value, and the more time that has to work, the better. So it's kind of like, at the moment in this game, we're already 12, 11 minutes in. We're both max. Like, this is the point we should already be taking advantage of it and getting ahead. Because late game ZVT, like, besides my jokes and my comments about this map being Zerg favored in late game, which I do believe it is, if the Zerg's on an even footing, which they rarely are by that point, because they struggle to defend so much. ZVT is all about tempo. It's all about momentum, even in late game, right? How many times we go, look how broken it is, Ghost beat everything, or look how broken it is, Zerg just A moves. It's almost always the setup going into the late game that actually leads into who crushes the other person. If the Terran gets to like 8 orbital command centers, and the Zerg hasn't already got their Broodlord swap like hitting them as those command centers are finishing, it's usually already game over. Like if the Zerg hasn't already got 70% of the map covered in creep and all this sort of stuff, they're kind of screwed. Because you know, yeah, so if you were getting those command centers up, you'd be miles ahead in this game. As it is, I guess I'd ask the question what this push is. Like, you know, I don't want to go full Matt Walsh on you and be like, what is a woman? You know, like, but I do want to say, like, what is this push? I'd love an explanation, Astrea. Just like, what the fuck is this push? This can't be your entire army. You do have 90 workers. You do have 90 workers. Yeah, this it feels weird committing with tanks across the map. I guess if this accidentally it's not the worst thing. I don't mind the biomine being there. But the tank just makes it feel like you're committing a little bit more than you need to this. And you're staying longer than you probably should as well. And you save most of the bio. It's okay. It's not as important as macroing though. I feel like if you're going to do that, you should have the other half of the bio hitting the left at the same time. You know, keep it going. Try to do the multi-prong. Now, you see, now these command centers are coming in, but they're after... Oh, wait, are you playing full Maru style, Astrea? Are you just never going to make an orbital explosion? Are you not going to make the Iron Bank? Maru's been playing this style a lot recently. He goes 90 workers, and he just keeps expanding and building planetaries and never makes more orbitals. Because you made 2 command centers, I was like, sweet, we're going to make orbitals, but you're floating command centers out to make planetaries, which is what we in the industry referred to as cuck shit. Real Chads make 14 orbital command centers. Now... I can kind of get behind it on this map because if you're playing a momentum style where you want to win early late game, you don't want to give up the momentum of building 5 command centers. That actually makes a lot of sense. And that's why every time I cast Maru do this, I justify it. I go, well, you know, this is not going to be as good at end game, but early late game, it's great because he's able to just keep up the pressure and keep trying to kill his opponent. And he never gives up the tempo and the momentum and he just keeps swarming. So the thing is, you do need to keep swarming if you're going to do it this style. So that's the only thing. Like this style kind of makes sense, but you really have to just keep attacking. You can't stop. So at no point can you fall back and go mass orbital because you're just going to be way too slow onto it. It's think of this as like the latest all-in you can possibly do. It's a 90 drone. I want to keep trading with you all day and never stop. Which we're doing pretty well with. I like that we're playing tanks and mines. Tank and mines together is like the perfect blend. The tanks unfortunately didn't do shit here. And he actually just got a really like good fight. Maybe we left the tank at home. I love that tank positioning. That's hilarious. Yeah, good cleanup for him. That was a really good fight. So we just kind of lost all of our momentum there. Maybe our barracks production wasn't good in the previous stage. I think with pushes like that, just try to remember to keep your tanks here and here. Like keep them a screen further back than you think, and just be really aggressive with the biomine and use the tanks as a fallback point. Or as the Zerg likes to call it, a fuck back point, because it's fucking disgusting. Yeah, he was kind of full committed Hydraling Bane this whole time. His Hive's only now coming in. He's 2-2 versus 3-3. So it's kind of a shame that we're down on army supply now. Oh, it's a sick mine. Good shot. Planetary and tank on the right side are actually going to defend this like on their own, which is great. A couple of snipey snipes. Snipes really aren't necessary against this army, like ghosts aren't in general, but hey, we have them. Might as well snipe. Especially if we can get them on the snipes on the Hydras, it's great. Alright, we do have 5 orbitals now, and now we're trying to build the mass command center. I honestly think you need to just keep pushing. Now that you've maxed, you need to like grab all your tanks and just go. And you need to like just keep doing that over and over again. So I'm worried that now you're building mass command center, you're going to slow down the tempo a little bit. You got to keep going. My boy, you got to keep going. As long as you hold this corridor, you can chill in the corridor. Zerg should never really fight you there. Yeah. Alright, got a second armory on the way. Oh, we let him clean our tanks up for free, bro. Sloppy. Ooh, this was a big mistake. We just gave up position is all. So why did our whole army pull back? What was going on there? I'd love to see. Why did we click down there? We just gathering our forces, I think? Kind of seemed really weird that we moved down here. What was this? Why are we going down here? Oh, are we thinking about pushing the bottom maybe? Rotating? Yeah, we just pulled back a bit too far. That's unfortunate, man. Because we're letting him bully us out of choke points he has no business bullying us out of. And then we take really bad banelings on the ghosts. Actually, not as bad as I thought, but yeah, bad banelings on the Marines in the south. So now twice in a row we've taken bad fights. This is the problem, is when you play 90 workers, you kind of want to just keep trading all game. There's an argument that 90 workers, you shouldn't play tanks at all, and you should play pure biomine. So have you considered playing more like a fuckwit, Astrea? Because that actually might be good here. This is one of the rare situations where being a fuckknuckle who just makes nothing but 8 Reapers at... Wait, you just queued up 8 Reapers at a time. Oh no, misclick. No, I was going to say, if you just played pure biomine and just do split pushes on both sides and just play really like chaotic dive style, you never risk losing one big frontal fight. And the idea is just you're diving, picking up, boosting past, dropping in the main, boosting back, dropping there. Other side dives in, snipes a base when he's not looking. It's a bit more chaotic, but because you got 90 worker supply, it does, you know, if you are going to frontal push, you just got to be really careful to have everything together. And you set up for the perfect fight. Now you're going to slow the game down, which is unfortunate. Luckily for you, he's still just making Hydraling Bane. Because like a Terran player, he only knows how to make 3 units in a game. Terrans only know how to make Marines and Marauders normally. So he's like, oh, not allowed to make a 3rd unit. Ugh. Niceling Bane Hydra. We've got so many ghosts. Yeah, we actually need Marines, man. Or maybe not Marines. Marines, Marauders, just a mix. Yeah, we just got bullet. Basically, this game's just been 5 minutes of us losing fights. We had a really good tempo, great momentum. And then we just got a bit sloppy. And once again, we're abandoning our tanks. Every time we set up our tanks here, we abandon them. You have to hold that position. Oh no. If you at this point just set your tanks up here and then branch forward with your bio and had them as a fallback point, it would be good. Well, this is actually the sickest move of all time. Guys, 17-minute Reaper run by. Please tell me you clicked that on purpose, Australia. If you chose consciously to build Reapers at this point in the game, then I have to salute. I have to fucking, like, my unreasonably turgid member has to literally salute itself. It's like a little, it's like one of those little worm, you know, Worms, the game? It's like one of those soldiers, and he's like, you saw a hero. You're a hero. You know, like that level of Chad gamery. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah, so the problem here is you've only got 6 orbitals. By the time that you get to Fungal Boys, you really want to... Oh, that was so quick! How does it feel to live in America and play with no ping? I'm so jealous when I see someone do something like that, because that's physically impossible for me to ever do. I literally never will ever be able to EMP a unit before it fucking unburrows and fungals me. It's just, to be fair, let's be real, I'm not good enough at micro to do it, but I have that excuse ready. So I know that I couldn't do it even if I was fast enough, and I'm definitely not fast enough to do it. That was a sick EMP. All right, guys, so this is, yeah, this is a game of StarCraft. How long do we take to lose this game? Oh, another 8 minutes, damn. Yeah, you're also not using, remember to use Liberators. It's the 2 APM way of making the ZERG spend like 400 APM to clean it up. It's really good. So the main thing is I didn't win a single straight up fight, so either I have too many workers or my micro is just too bad. There was multiple fights where you fought with with only a small chunk of army. Yeah, you were committing to like you brought a single tank, threw it away. You pushed with 2 tanks, siege them in the middle of the fight when they should have been sieged back here. You moved in here, and you weren't quite maxed again. You were like still quite far from max with a lot of units in production and 90 workers, and you got caught in front. So then you siege 2 tanks here, and you move back, and you abandon the tanks. Like if we look at the killed tank count, you've lost 17 tanks this game. I don't think I've seen more than 2 or 3 tanks in a single fight. So I think you just basically, your tanks, like, they're like bros before hoes, yeah? And the Marines are like, yeah. The Ghost's like, yeah, no worries, bro. And the tank walks out of the room, and the Ghost just turns and looks at the Marine. He's like, you're gonna fuck his wife, right? And he's like, yes. The moment he sets up in siege mode, he can't unsiege. I'm gonna be in and out of his house. It's gonna be a good time, you know? Like, essentially, they're not supporting their brothers in battle. They're doing fucked up shit behind each other's back. So the Marines, the Ghosts, and the tanks need to have camaraderie. They need to back each other up. Like, you need your boys to work together, essentially, Astrea. There's too much animosity in your ranks in this game. They're not helping each other out. Yeah, Astrea is a Protoss player. Protoss, they just like, you can't do that stuff because you'd sense it through your mind collar or whatever it is, you know, your neural penis. You'd be able to, oh, there's someone in my life right now. You'd be able to feel it, you know? So that's why they don't have cheating in the Protoss, for sure. Oh! Ooh, good snipes. Dude, what are we doing? Just spread. Oh, once again, caught a bit on siege, dude. It's a little slow on the siege. Remember, siege just a little bit further back than you think you need to. Even in a situation like that, where he's like going to run around, you had 2 tanks on the right. If you just siege like a tank there, or whatever, you can't, going in your production kind of traps himself. As long as you don't throw your army away. If it's mass lurker, I can understand the urgency to get a little bit closer. But if it's not mass lurker, don't worry about it. Just don't let him, you know, just siege earlier. I don't know. You had most of your tanks in that fight. Once again, sieging the middle of the battle. Yeah. That fight, you had more tanks. You're doing better now. Your fights are doing better now. For sure, man. I mean, you just took some... And you just sniped a base. Unfortunately, a bunch of Ghosts are kind of running into the Hydras and dying in the chaos. Good sniper base. That's why I like just sending single drops or Liberators off. Not like never Ghosts. Just like, oh, here's 4 Marauders and a medevac or something, or 2 medevacs with Marines and Marauders. I try to never send Ghosts in counterattacks if possible, and I try to use just Liberators and like split off units for counterattacks, yeah. Too many Ghosts? Unnecessary. Yeah, I mean, well, you never needed Ghosts for the first like 15 minutes, and you did have a lot of them. Probably too many, yeah. Yeah, I don't think you need more than like 12 Ghosts, unless they're playing Mass Ultra or something like that. You can go higher. Like, they're a decent combat unit, but they're also very expensive to lose, right? Alright, so we're going to go drop, which is good. 2 tanks, but once again, unguarded. Yeah, man, he's finding good fights. Epic's playing really good. This is a great move for him. He dives on the command center like a hungry Zerg. And that's game. Well played. Dude, he played really good. He played really good, yeah. You definitely prioritized your macro and clicking with your dick. This is a thing where, like, it's so tempting as a Terran to click with your dick because we see Clem do it all the time where he's just like, micro. We've got to remember that Clem's perfectly macroing while he's doing it. So if you could take 10% away of your attention away from micro to macro in the first, like, 10 minutes of the game, you would also probably just win this game within the first 9 to 10 minutes every time. If I can't click with my dick, I don't want to play a Terran. I know, it's the whole attraction. I get to attack the whole game. Look at me. Stimbuyer. Like, you're like, what are you going to take away the one reason I'm playing Terran? click on Baneling, click on Baneling, lol, stim in, pick up, fly away, unload, stim in, pick up, fly away, unload, stim in, pick up. You know, that's kind of the joys of Terran. 10%. You can take 10% off the shaft. You can still have a turgid amount of micro, and it'll do pretty well. Yeah. Should this go on YouTube, guys? Do you think this is valuable? Anyone? Okay, guys, so this game's about to end. I'm going to ask you guys in chat. Get ready to type in chat in a sec. We're just going to finish this game, and you guys can let us know if this... And just remember, if you're watching this on YouTube right now, it probably means they voted yes. And it's Twitch chat's full. If you thought this was not good educational content, if we put it on the coaching channel, of course. But I do think there's like something to be learned from me telling Astrea kind of what he could have done better. Shit talking and joking at the same time, but also, you know, there is a lot of actual advice mixed in there as well. So... just hold, guys. We got to finish the game, and then I'll show the chat on screen. Get ready. Get ready. I kind of like having, like, Bronze to Gem where I'm like, hey, guys, this is how you get better at the game, and then me just shitting on Astrea and making dumb jokes about each race being morons for the, like, videos, you know? All right. GG. Well played, though. Good try. Units lost wasn't too bad despite all of that. All right, guys, so did this have educational value? Did you guys learn something? To be honest, it was extremely helpful. Taught 3 possible builds, how to play the map, and how to set up tanks. Learned a lot. Shy Guy says, no, I laughed a bunch. I learned a new word, turgid. Yeah, it's a good word. I learned it from Californication, I think. Very helpful to me, Noob and Silver. I think it's fun content while being educational to the vast majority of players. Who did Scarlet beat playing Protoss Proxy against a ZERG? She didn't proxy necessarily at the start. She went the Hitman 7 gate versus Dongre Gu in MLG 2014, I believe it was. 2013? 2014? One of those years. Yeah, I think 24. Okay, yeah, I think I'll chuck it up, guys. I think we'll chuck it up. All right. I hope you guys learned something here. This was very impromptu. This was not planned, but if you guys do enjoy this sort of really high-level, valuable coaching, as we can see here, late game isn't necessarily about tight build orders. It's about just having a general priority list in terms of like what are the main things you want to achieve, right? And the 14 command centers, like I said, well, we don't need 14 command centers, but we at least need to go 5 to give ourselves more mules, more scans, more of that before going into like third factory and double armory. These are like super bonus things. Third factory, double armory, they're not really giving you tempo either. The ghosts also aren't that important to like rush onto the map. So I do think 2 command centers always before starting ghosts. So you got like your 4 bases plus 2 extra orbitals. So 5 orbitals total is huge. And then the ghosts, very good unit. But I would advise if anyone's watching this and they're not a super high level player, I actually think just going heavier on tanks or liberators with your bio is an easier way to win in TvZ in the early late game. Because you can just siege your units. You don't have to stim, spread, snipe, and siege, which is just a lot of things to manage with all the movement that goes on in ZERG vs Terran. I think a lot of players beat themselves by trying to use the army they see Clem use and the top players, and they just kind of tangle themselves up and they're not stimming and bikering their bio correctly, they're not sniping with ghosts or EMPing correctly, and they're not sieging their units. So you might want to dumb things down a little bit for yourself. And even pro gamers have done this in the past. It's not as popular these days, but it's actually very legitimate as a style. Anyway, thanks for watching. Let us know if you got anything out of it in the comments and if you want to see more stuff like this. And we'll catch you guys in the next time. Goodbye and good night.